Guys, this is Dot, and today I'm going to just go over how to make a multi-layer sticker for your lab assignment this week. We do have a multi-layer sticker tutorial on Compass already, but the process of making it is a little different than the way you might make a multi-layer sticker, for instance, if you were going to make a logo, which is one of your assignments. So I thought that I might just run through this with you so everyone's on the same page. And I'm going to be making or replicating the basketball team or a basketball team logo. They're called the Nuggets, and I hadn't learned of them until recently. They're my boyfriend's favorite basketball team, so I think I'll make him a multi-layer sticker. Okay, so like we did for our first assignment when we were making laser cut name tags, we're going to go online and search for an image. But unlike last week when we searched for a silhouette, instead we're going to just search for our logo. So I'm going to say the Denver Nuggets logo. Okay, and search on images, and so I could do this one, but it's pretty complicated and has a lot of colors on it. So I think I'm going to choose their kind of more standard logo. And so I'm just going to save that to my desktop, which is very, very messy. All right. So right now I'm in Inkscape. I'm on my Mac, so it might look a little different in Windows, but they operate the same way. So I'm going to import my image, and all right, and I'm going to embed my image. That's important. Okay, so here is my sticker, and so I know the dimensions like we did previously. I'm an American, I like to work in inches, so I just went to File, Document Properties, and I'm going to change the display units to inches. So you can see my ruler just changed from millimeters to inches. And I'm also going to change the units of my canvas. And I think I'm going to change my width and height to, I'll do maybe like 6 by 6. I don't want the sticker to be huge. Okay. And so then I'm going to hit Control and just scale this down. Hitting Control and then scaling it down preserves the original dimensions of your image, so that's important. Then I'm just going to hit the plus key to zoom in. And remember, I can hit spacebar to pan around. Okay, so here's my Denver Nuggets logo, and like the previous week, I'm going to click on it to select it. I'm going to go to Path, not Object, I'm going to go to Path, and then Trace Bitmap. And so last week what we did was we worked with brightness cutoff, and essentially what that means, if something is not of a certain color level, I believe, then it won't be traced. However, this week we are going to work with colors, so that means that our bitmap trace will actually pick up a certain number of colors. And so if I look in my logo here, I think I have about, I have yellow, white, I have light blue, and dark blue. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. So I'm going to click colors, and I'm going to change scans to 4. And you can see that my sticker still looks the way I think it should be. So I'm going to click OK. All right. And then I'm just going to drag this off, and just to prove to you that it worked, if I zoom in and compare the two images, it's a little, there we go. So you can see that this is my new traced image, and the lines look much cleaner than my original image. So that's really good. That's what we wanted. So I'm going to delete my original image. Okay. I'm going to bring this back to the screen. And this is really interesting. So now I can right-click on it, and I can say ungroup. And now I can just start dragging all of my layers off. Actually, did that? Yeah, there we go. So you can see here's the dark blue color, you know, I had. Here's the yellow color we had. We even got some, that should have released. So there's also a white color and a blue, oh, here's our, okay. Yeah, and so then there's a white background and then there's our blue. So I might make a few mistakes. I've done this once before, but bear with me as we go through this. Okay, so if I look back at my original sticker, or my original logo, sorry, you know, it kind of looks like the way, you know, the way I might think about constructing this as well, you know, it looks like it maybe has a light blue kind of base sticker, so the outline of this entire sticker will have a light blue color. Then it looks like it's got maybe a couple of pieces of dark blue, you know, on top of it. Then it's got some white on top of the dark blue, and it's got some white kind of text letters on top of the dark blue. And then it's got some yellow pieces. So I think that's how I'm going to go about constructing this. So I'm going to delete this, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Path and Break Apart. And now you can see, it might be a little hard to see, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Shift, and you see this big kind of square right here. I'm going to try to deselect that. Nope. So everything, all right, let's go back here. Okay, so maybe if I get up close. Okay, great. So I deselected that big outer square, and it might not make a lot of sense right now, but it will in a second. So I'm going to drag everything else off of that blue background. Okay, great. So this is going to be our sticker base, and I actually believe, is there still something on here? Last time I did this, there was still something on it. So I'm going to try to break it apart again. Might not. Okay. No, I think we're okay. Okay, so this is our sticker background, kind of like in this logo here. And then you can see there are some kind of dark blue bits on top of it. So maybe I'll keep, you know, these kind of blue letters here for now, and I'll change them later, but I'll go to my second layer, which will be the dark blue. And you could do this in multiple ways. I'm not saying my way is right, but this is just how I did it. So, you know, if I put this on top of my base right now, you see that it doesn't really come out the way I want it to, because, you know, this kind of snow at the top of the mountain here, it's not white. So, dragged the wrong one. So what I can do here is, like I did before, Path, Break Apart. Okay. And so now what I can do is I can just take that little snow piece, and that's going to be white, and I'll keep that maybe over near the letters for now, because we want those letters to be white as well, I believe. Okay, so now it's important, you know, I could move this around, but then it might be hard to place it back perfectly, right? Because we want to make sure we mimic the original logo. So I'm going to regroup all of these, or I'll combine them. That's what happened before, and you know, now if I dragged it on top, it looks proper. Okay, but I'll keep that. Yeah, I'll put it down here for now so we can kind of see what's going on, and I want to make sure that the blue is where it should be, and it's not. So you see, like here, the blue isn't quite touching the light blue, but it's touching the light blue here. So I might want to move that up. And I know that, you know, this is a lot of detail, but it'll make your sticker look nice. So, you know, it might look something more like that. It's not perfect, but you get the gist. And you'll place it when you actually make your real sticker, when you cut everything out. Okay, so now I have my dark blue color, and then I said I wanted to put white on top, right? So, this is interesting, yeah. So, how did I do this? Well, I could also have made this the white one, but that's fine. Okay, so again, you know, it's just kind of trial and error. This one could be the white piece, this could be the white piece, so, you know, whatever. I'm going to make this the white piece, and then, so there is also the white tip of the mountain, Denver, and then the outline of the letters. And so what's interesting is we broke everything in here apart, and what we still actually have in here is Denver, the word Denver, in the same color as kind of this banner part. So what I can do is I can actually kind of go ahead and try to select all of the letters in here, and I'm holding Shift as I click. And I know that there are, you know, that there's a kind of a middle section of this D and a middle section of the R, and that's why I clicked in those two. And so then I'm going to change the color of that to gray. I could change it to white, but then it's just going to be really hard to like see it. So, and then I can just delete the inside of. No. Edit. I'm going to redo that. Okay, great. So actually what I have to do is, so I tried to delete that center, and that's not going to work because this is its own object, as you can see. So if you remember from the other week, to make a hole in an object, you can't just delete it. You have to select both of the objects, and then you have to go path and difference, and that'll actually cut a hole out. And so you want to do the same thing with the R. Go path, difference. Okay, great. And then this is also my white layer, so I'm going to also make that gray color. And let me just make sure that this is actually supposed to be the white. All right, so I think I remember what happened. Again, you can do this different ways. I'm going to say that this is going to be the white, and then you'll see kind of the trick I do. So delete that. Okay, so what I did before was I selected all of the white sections and just moved them to where they should be. And you can see this is not, the snow should be obviously above the kind of dark blue peak of the mountain. So if it's not, I can just hit this little icon in the upper toolbar that says Raise Selection to Top, and voila. Okay. So my snow is, you can see it's a little further down than the dark blue to show the dark blue. So I'm going to move that down a little bit. Okay. And I might move my letters down a little bit as well. Okay, great. All right, and so here are my other white pieces as well. I'm going to change those to gray, and I'm going to put those right in here. So it's a little hard to see, but they should fit right into those slots created by the dark blue. Okay, so not perfect, but good enough for government work. Even though I'm not working for the government. Well, I guess I have an NSF grant, so kind of. Anyway, so we've got our light blue layer, our dark blue layer, a white layer. Now we need our yellow layer, which is the topmost layer. And yeah, this is weird. So it's hard for me to see exactly what's going on here. And I'm just kind of poking around. So, okay. I'll do the same thing I did last time. I thought I could make it easier for you guys, but nope. Alright, so I'm just going to delete this and I'll show you what we'll need to do for kind of the banner outline. But for now, what I'm going to do is I am going to, great. Yeah, okay, so that worked. So what I did was I hit Control D to duplicate this letter N, and I'm going to change that color to a yellow. It's a very bright yellow, okay. And I'm going to do a dynamic offset. And so what I can do is, if I zoom in, you can see when I hit dynamic offset, there's like this little white diamond now. So I can actually click that and drag it inward to offset that letter. And it offsets at equal distance all around. And that's starting to look now more like our original logo. Of course, the gray parts are going to be white. But we can cut them out in a white vinyl, doesn't really matter. So again, I'm going to click U, actually, so I'm in the node tool right now, so I'll click on that. I don't think it really matters, but so I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate it. I'm not hitting Control C because, okay, so I just deleted my duplicate. So if I hit Control C to copy it, and then I hit Control V to paste, it actually pastes it like off screen. It pastes it in a different location, and it's no longer that like really nice kind of vector image. It becomes this raster image, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna hit Control D, and like before, I am going to change the color. Why aren't you changing? Okay, great. And then we're going to go to Path, Dynamic Offset, and we're going to do the same thing now. Of course, this isn't as precise as maybe some of you would like. So if you figure out a more precise way of doing this, let me know. Okay. So some weird artifacts on the screen, and this is really important. So I'm so stupid. You see how I haven't saved my document yet? That's really bad. Inkscape is an open source software tool, and it can crash easily, so you want to save constantly. You don't want to be like me. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'll save this on my desktop, and I'll call this, Nuggets sticker, and I'll say 2 since I've done this before. Alright, great, and I saved it as an SVG. So you guys can keep following along with me, or you can speed this up, but I'm just going to keep chugging along with what I've been doing. So Control D, change the color, path, dynamic offset, and I'm gonna save it. D, changing the color, offset. Okay. So E, Control D, change the color, path. I always mix up the object and path menus. I don't know why. So if you do that too, I won't judge. It doesn't look really good, does it? So sometimes it has it's a little weird sometimes about offsetting. So if you have that problem, just zoom in really close and it should be easier. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of dragging in a diagonal motion. So downward but also inward, which seems to make it a little easier. Pro tip from a non-pro. Okay, so Control D, yellow, and I mixed them up again. That's okay. I'll do dynamic offset. Gonna zoom in to avoid a weird problem, and I'm gonna offset it. Okay, looks good to me. And last but not least, that S. Gonna Control D, change it to yellow. Gonna go path, dynamic offset. Okay, and that looks good to me, letter-wise. We're almost done, but I just want to say really quickly, you may be asking yourself, well, Dot, if we're going to cut this out, like, why do I care about filling this with color? And the reason is it just makes it easier for you to remember what part of your sticker you're going to cut out in yellow versus blue. And at the end of this, I'll cluster it. So this is our Denver Nuggets multi-layer sticker that we will do. And great. So what I can do next is I'm going to group these, so based on their color. And we want to, though, preserve the spacing between kind of items of like color. So, for example, for the yellow, I'm going to select all of them by hitting the Shift key, and I'm going to move them all together off to the side. Okay, I'm going to, and I can actually group them, and then I wouldn't have to worry about not preserving their location. So great, so now I can move it around. Okay. Now I'm just selecting, oh, I think I wanted that. So now I'm just selecting the white parts. And you can see it's kind of finicky. Might be easier if I zoom in. And I'm just hitting the Shift key to select everything, and then I'll say group, and just move that off. And I can do the same thing. This is already grouped. So here are my 4 different pieces for my multi-layer sticker. And I will save this again, so I can just hit Control S to save it. And that's good. So this is the end of designing a multi-layer sticker in Inkscape, and in the next video I'll show you how to bring it into Silhouette Studio so you can cut it out.